The Miami Heat are continuing to prove everybody wrong. And I don't literally mean everyone, because of course Miami holds a franchise with a lot of deep-rooted history. But what makes them special is after being deemed the worst offensive team in the NBA in the regular season, they found a way to muster together a group of guys that got them as far as the NBA Finals. I personally still don't know how they did it, but it goes to show the type of culture that the Heat has built up throughout the years, and one that they obviously take very seriously and they want to maintain. It's about fight, it's about grit, it's about team basketball, and honestly, something I think is very important as a player is to believe that nobody out there is touching you. The Miami Heat, they have that. Taking on the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals is their true test. In Game 1, the Miami Heat were unsuccessful. Also, they had one of their worst playoff shooting performances ever. In Game 2, they were able to make some adjustments that I want to touch on today that allowed them to overcome the wrath of the Denver Nuggets. And everybody thought that this series would definitely be a sweep. But once again, the Miami Heat found a way to get a win. And now the series is tied 1-1. And we want to see exactly how they got the Game 2 win with this breakdown by Thinking Basketball. And if you want to check out the original video without my commentary, which I don't recommend, I mean, hey, you know, y'all come here for a player's perspective, and that's what I provide. You know what I mean? But hey, if y'all want to check the video out, it will be linked in the description. And before we get into it, as always, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are a few subscribers away from 4,000. Who will be the 4,000th subscriber? Let's see who it is. If it's you, send me a picture that you are the 4,000 subscriber, and I'll give you a big shout out in the next video. All right, let's get it. Let's get right into this reaction. Let's go.
If you haven't followed the Miami Heat during this incredible playoff run, this is what they do. Erik Spoelstra makes a key adjustment, Jimmy Butler provides impact without always scoring, and a bevy of undrafted players shoot so well from long range that it makes statisticians question everything they know.
Facts.
In Game 1, we talked about cross matches creating a problem for the small ball Miami lineup. So to give them more size, Spoelstra dusted off Kevin Love after benching him for the last 3 games.
Okay, so right off the rip, let's get to what I said after the first game. My whole take was just that the Heat were just too small. They were trying to play a small lineup that just didn't work with Denver's matchups. I mean, Denver's players are big. Like, they're a very big team, and they're a very aggressive and defensive team as well. So you put in smaller guards on these big guys, they're just going to find a way to get mismatches, which is exactly what the Denver Nuggets coaching staff did. So bringing out players like Kevin Love, Cody Zeller to actually give the Heat some depth, some size, paid off.
Love is big enough to discourage Aaron Gordon from backing him into the post immediately. And on this possession, that slows down Denver. They want to set a screen to free up Nikola Jokic.
No, they have somebody bumping.
And all that means Jokic catches it with just 7 seconds on the clock, which leads to a tough covered 3 and a stop.
Nice.
The other key part of starting Love is that Butler can guard Jamal Murray, and he uses his size here to power through a screen and stick to him, so Murray goes to a difficult one-leg jumper and misses. Remember, Denver hurt Miami in transition in Game 1, but with Love in, Gordon doesn't run straight to the rim to post up.
That matters.
And Love provides a big body in the paint, and that looks like he's set for the charge to me. And then Michael Porter Jr. is feeling sportsmanlike, so he doesn't hit Jokic or Murray underneath. Here's another trick.
I like that. But no, that's facts. When you're running down the lane, bro, it's just facts. When you see certain people in the lane, you are a little less likely to decide if you're about to take off or if you're about to just try to get some contact and get a layup or whatever you're going to do. That matters. That size does matter. Pause.
Transition sequence where Jokic is ahead of Bam that usually causes problems, but Love's in the paint to back up Butler.
Just
and
a presence
Gordon's
that matters.
eyes light up
Just the
with
presence.
Max Strus in front of him again, so he calls his own number, but Love comes over and
help.
nearly stuffs the layup.
Good job.
This time the size shows
Okay,
up
Kevin
in the
Love.
half court. Bam tries to front Jokic to take away his post up, but Love comes over and is big enough to alter the shot.
Nice.
Basket.
That's facts, man.
Kevin isn't much of a shot blocker, but he will rebound and position himself well. And this time he slides in front and successfully draws the offensive foul.
Nice.
And that was one of 3 turnovers
Wow.
Love forced in this game. Reading this Murray pass perfectly.
Steal.
And in the third, once again, using his size to rotate early into Jokic and then take away the pass by targeting the ball first. And he probably hits his arm, but I love the idea using his size to clog the pass.
Oh, that's
And
clean.
I thought
I
his
wouldn't
minutes
call
were
it either.
key to this upset. Miami outscored Denver by 18 points in Love's 22 minutes,
Wow.
holding them to an 85 offensive rating.
Talk about a plus minus. Sheesh. I did not know Kevin Love's impact was like this in game 2.
But in Love's
This
26 minutes
This
on
is why I watch stinking basketball.
the bench, Denver racked up a scorching 161 points per 100 possessions. Kevin didn't even play in the fourth because the Heat caught fire with their small ball lineups. Murray's a little too eager to contest, and Duncan Robinson takes advantage of it.
What do you do?
And on the next possession, Denver's switching
Obviously
everything
not
and in
jump, but
perfect
hey.
position. But Robinson catches Murray by surprise, driving on the catch, and that turns into an easy layup.
And one.
And no one was there to help for Denver because Bam was sealing on the inside.
Man, that seal,
Throughout these
if you could perfect that, all the big men out there watching, you could perfect that, your guards will love you. I promise you. And sometimes they'll even drop that off to you. You'll be able to get an and one layup because the defender's on your back. See you when people are driving. Very good.
playoffs, Coach Spoelstra has constantly played the hot hand, sticking with Robinson in this game as he ignited in the fourth. With Duncan hitting 3 in a row, they run him off a corner screen, and he could fly up for a handoff, but curls to the basket instead. Bruce
Opening
Brown
up
switches
the
to save the layup,
yesterday I
but that
called this a
leaves
rookie
Gabe
mistake.
Vincent
Exactly.
uncovered, and he puts Miami up
Bam.
1.
Okay, so I'm glad they brought this play up because when I was reacting to the video yesterday, I said rookie mistake. So I forgot the name of this guy here, but he is a rookie and he was playing extremely well for Denver. But these are the moments where just a little bit of like youth and a little bit of miscommunication combined causes you big time. Because obviously both of them ran with the cutter to the rim, leaving Gabe Vincent wide open, and he realized it was him, which is why he ran back to try to clean up his mess, but it was too late. 3 points. That's all it takes.
The next time they run the exact same action, Brown doesn't switch the Robinson curl, and he just finishes into
Another rookie
three-point
mistake
lead
by him.
And some
He's trailing Duncan, and
in game
he
one.
caused him.
Bam poured in 26 points. But these were often mid-rangers in isolation that didn't really involve any Miami shooters or cutters.
That's a good shot.
So in game 2, Spoelstra used Bam more as a playmaker from the elbow. And this time, Robinson is the one setting the screen. Vincent zooms over for the handoff, and he's able to draw a foul, and Miami was already in the bonus for 2 free throws.
Gee.
And okay, maybe Bam was the one to foul him, but it's still a tricky action to guard because you can run so many variations on the screen. This time, instead of setting the pick,
That's a
Strus
flaw.
slips right into the handoff, which leaves KCP behind the play.
Wow, that's
and
nice.
that
That's
then
all you
opens
need.
The pocket pass
Exactly.
to Bam, who can then finish with the left.
Ooh.
And they
I like
kept
that.
going to this in the fourth. Robinson screens for Butler this time. Bam probably misses the backdoor pass, but they can flow into a potential handoff or, at worst, reset the whole thing with a good shooter playing spread pick and roll without a bio. And he can then roll to the basket and pass on the move.
Nice.
Butler attacks another sloppy closeout for an and one to put
Jimmy
the
Butler
Heat
plays
up
so well
7.
off of 2 feet.
A minute later, they look for the same screening action on the other side. Denver blows it up and actually switches all this movement really well. But again, Miami can fall back on spread pick and roll, where a good shooter pulls Jokic up to the level of the screen. Bam rolls free, and Porter is late on the rotation, and Adebayo flushes it. Now, in order to protect the smaller lineup defensively, Spo went to the zone for most of the fourth. Adebayo protects the basket, while the other 4 players basically take away the three-point line. And an adjustment from game 1 was having one of the 2 defenders up top front Jokic in the high post to take away that easy catch in the middle of the floor where he's so dead.
Right. So in the Celtics-Miami series, if y'all remember, the reason that Miami was winning these games was because of that zone. The Celtics could not handle the zone. It was almost embarrassing to watch. They looked elementary at times trying to handle the zone, and it's like they forgot that we are all taught if you want to beat a zone, you get the ball to the middle of the floor. So that's exactly what they didn't do. They decided to pass around the perimeter and just shoot threes. But now, in the case of Denver, the reason the zone might not be as effective is just because of what he said. Jokic gets his money in the middle of the floor, which is exactly where you don't want the ball to be in a zone. So they have to front him in order to not allow the ball to get there. Because when they do allow it to get there, he can easily score. He can make passes. It's just too many holes in your defense after that.
Zone wasn't actually super effective, but it didn't need to be. It just had to throw off Denver for a possession
just a little
or
bit
two
to get them
and
uncomfortable.
simply tread water while the Miami shooters rained fire on the other end. There's the fronting technique to take away Jokic, and that adjustment was probably just enough to hold Denver off down the stretch. Another wrinkle I loved was Miami's use of staggered screens, where a shooter can slip out to an empty corner, and Denver's not on the same page again, with Porter forgetting to switch to the corner, and it's target practice. So after a timeout, the Nuggets get their switching buttoned up, and with Bam not involved, Jokic can sag off nicely and help, and they end up stonewalling the Heat on this trip. So when they run it again at the end of the first half, they bring Bam back into that action. Murray is facing the sideline because he wants to force the ball to that side of the court. So Bam wisely flips the angle of the screen. That gets Vincent in front of Murray, and he can seal him off for a little floater. All of that set up my favorite play of the game, was Strus first screening for the ball handler, then getting a screen himself. And remember, Denver wants to switch this, so it creates confusion because Murray takes the ball handler, but Porter doesn't switch because he's thinking about pushing the ball to the sideline.
Still in that.
KCP ends up chasing Strus, which leaves our old friend Love wide open.
That's actually a really cool play.
That was a nice pass from Vincent there, and he had 21 huge points on a red-hot 8 of 12 from the floor, including 4 for 6 from downtown, making a nice cut here into open space off of the Butler kickout. And I thought Jimmy's playmaking was the last big piece of the puzzle for Miami, patiently probing to find a teammate here. And some of these passes were subtle but incredibly effective.
Nice. Good finish.
He's cleared out in isolation on this one. Denver slides an extra defender toward him, so Butler just swings it, which lets Strus attack a closeout, and he makes the nice extra pass for a Bam layup. On this play, he's attacking Jokic in pick and roll, which means Denver brings over help from the weak side. So he moves it to the corner, which finds the open man, and it's a sidestep 3 from Love.
You don't miss those.
This pass to Bam was particularly nice. Gordon sticks with him on the drive, but he still hooks it back for a short little floater. And even though Butler made a huge jumper late in the game to go up 8, this pass in the final minute was just as big. Jokic usually drops, sees him pick up his dribble, and feigns a contest, but that pulls him slightly out of position. Butler slips it by him, and that earns Bam 2 huge freebies. Fittingly, Jimmy defended Murray well on the final play of the game, and the Heat held on behind a 36-point fourth quarter and 49% three-point shooting. This was the 8th time the Heat have shot 44% or better in the playoffs after doing it just 10 times all
That don't
season.
even make sense to me.
So, behind some lethal shooting from their cadre of undrafted players, Jimmy Butler's playmaking, and Eric Spoelstra pushing all the right buttons, the 8th-seeded Miami Heat are in probably just 3 games away from an NBA championship. If you want to work in basketball, I have the place for you.
Shout out to Thinking Basketball for another gem of a video. Definitely a fan of their page. Every time I see a video pop up, I'm like, man, this is just good work. This is just great work, you know, and I appreciate the effort and just what they do over there. So once again, if y'all want to check out their channel, I will link it in the description for y'all to check out all of their goods, all right? What I do appreciate about their video is that it makes me learn. Like I always say, I'm a student of the game, and I am always trying to get better at what I do and learn and use my mind and see plays. And nothing is better than watching film and being able to make things come to life. As a player, sometimes, you know, when you aren't feeling your best or when you aren't playing your best, sometimes watching some film, breaking down some things, you could point out, oh, I was not in my spot. If I'm there just a little bit sooner, I get to my spot a little bit sooner, my defensive rotation, then I can get that block. If I come off of that screen with a little bit more pace to be able to square my body to my shot, I can make that shot better. And things like that allow you to become better and to sharpen your skills. And sharpening your skills mentally is just as important. So his videos always makes me think, and I really like that. Everything that was said in this video, I pretty much agree with. I think we were on the same page with how we saw the game. Of course, there were a lot of things that he mentioned that I didn't see because I didn't break down every quarter for quarter on this one. Just seeing the Heat's adjustments. I didn't know Kevin Love's impact was that crazy in this one. I know that he had impact, but when Thinking Basketball breaks it down this way, you really get to see how you don't have to affect the game and just scoring. Sometimes being in your spot, being in your defensive spot is enough to disrupt the pass, to cause a steal. That's enough. Kevin Love is not the fastest person on the floor, but he's always in his place. That's just him being a veteran, him doing these things for such a long time and finding success at it. I still think the Nuggets will pull this off, but I think that the Heat is not going to make it easy for them in any way. So let me know your thoughts on this video by Thinking Basketball. Let me know your thoughts on the breakdown and what y'all thought in general. Leave a comment down below. Let's talk. Let's engage as usual. And don't forget what I said. If you made it this far, thank you, by the way. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Whoever is the 4,000th subscriber, I will give you a big shout out in the next video. Okay, so love y'all to death. Till the next one. Peace.